Hey everybody, this is Gary, Carburetor. Today I'll be posing the question, will my injury heal okay? Being vegan and eating a low-protein diet, lower than most vegans. If you didn't see part 1 of this, and the rare doctor visit that I had, it's good to see that first, if you have the time. But this video is the real educational one. And this information can help anybody, not just with injuries, but avoiding injury, especially overuse injury, and being in better condition, muscles working better, because I'll be talking about what really heals and what doesn't. I learned a lot from having epicondylitis, commonly known as tennis elbow, a painful condition that occurs when tendons in your elbow are overloaded from overuse. I have never had anything like this before, and I never thought it was possible for an arm to become so painful to use, making it unusable just from using it a lot. And anybody could get this, since I got it partially from common things, such as using the mouse and keyboard a lot. I just did other things too in that day. So you want to put effort into avoiding it. Not only did I have to live with that pain and the stress, and I was already dealing with stress, but I had to live with only the use of one arm. And I had to have the other arm in a certain position, limited position. Even sleep I had to use pillows to secure my arm in a certain position. So I had to keep my arm around this angle. I couldn't straighten it or bring it up here. Any change in the elbow would cause big pain. So just laying down, I had to do it a certain way. No matter what, it hurt. At this point, my arm could relax, but it wouldn't on its own because it was so stressed out, it would cause the muscles to tense. The irony is the tense muscles were the cause of the pain. But then I learned how to get the arm to relax. I would gently push on it and then just focus on relaxing. Like a couple seconds, the pain would just drop way down. And then I'd continue down the arm. I think it works because it's like a massage. But I learned something here, that massaging really can relax the muscle. What I do most is hard massaging. And maybe that's not good, especially around the neck and shoulders. I've been having a problem there for a while. So now I've stopped hard massaging around this area. I started just doing it gently. That could be more relaxing. So that was a good thing to learn. So all I needed to do was push on it, and then I could relax and just watch TV and wait the 7 days that I was hoping. That's the minimum they say it would take. And then I have to stand up. If I had it like this, my muscles have to be engaged to keep it that way. Everything becomes a painful hassle. So there's a number of things working against me. Stress, and I had been eating low protein for years, but I increased it for this injury. But I didn't increase it a lot. I was barely getting up to the RDA. You can see why that video from what I learned bothered me so much. He said RDA is a minimum. 7 days is the minimum for healing this. So I woke up on the 7th day. I go to move my arm, and I notice I don't have the usual pain. And I could move it a little bit in either direction. It was on its way to healing after 7 days. And then every day I noticed a little improvement. I could go further up, further down. And I was doing finger lifts because those fingers lift because of a muscle that goes all the way up to the elbow. And all this was a mess too. So I was being real careful, moving real slowly because I don't want to re-damage anything. It was about 1 month that it was just close to back to normal. I could use it fine. So the injury itself did heal. You can see there's no pain and it's loose. It's not inflamed anymore. And it healed quickly. So that's a win for the vegan diet. Even low protein. Healing on low protein, people. And that myth is still just floating around out there.
Many plant proteins, for example, rice, lentils, peanuts, almonds, and wheat, are all considered poor.
The fundamental issue with these scoring systems is it doesn't matter if a single food item is low in protein quality.
So it'll be a full recovery, I think. And I'll be back to drumming, but I just want to be careful. Now, a couple weeks ago, my bad luck continued. I was at the stove and I just happened to reach my arm across and I burned it on a pan lid that I had left over one of the burners. I'll be stopping that practice The lid was very hot, unusually hot. And this burn just covered a lot of skin area. So this is the worst burn I've ever had. I would say it just made it into a 2nd degree burn. That whole area there was raised like about 1 millimeter. So it was a blister. I think some people are being taken for a ride here. Americans are still being tricked into buying too much protein, and it is hurting their health.
Data from NHANES suggests that 40% of Americans aren't even hitting their minimum protein requirements.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
What the fuck is he talking about?
What? Well, I also thought, what the fuck is he talking about?
If we look at some of the wording from the study here, plant-based rations were associated with greater deficiencies. This meat industry-funded study here, deficient in protein. Like, what is this, like 1995 or the Joe Rogan experience? I mean, this is just a complete myth.
It's like last century. That's what I was talking about.
Protein. Need more protein. Yeah. Right.
I increased my protein. I was still barely making the RDA. I was maybe getting like 60 grams of protein a day. And a few days ago, I saw Unnatural Vegan still saying vegans aren't getting enough protein. Here I am. I made a quick recovery. All my recoveries are quick from everything. In my last video, I happened to mention that I didn't see why the pain would last so long, 1 to 3 weeks. But then I recall what the reason for pain is. You have to think about why the body does what it does. It does it to help itself. All the signals and symptoms it gives you, the body's trying to get you to do something or not do something. In this case, it wants you to stop using the arm because that's where the healing will happen. Rest is really good when there's pain there. So that part is right. But once the pain has gone down to a more reasonable level, you should start using the area that was injured. Yeah, see, this is it. This is what I wanted to say before about how it doesn't make sense that an injury would last so long. What would you do in the wild, back in the days of nature? Hide out in the bushes for like a week or two? Otherwise an animal will kill you? See, animals don't just hide out and stop using their bodies. They keep using the parts of their bodies they need to use. And that sends a message to the body that we need that part of the body. It's important. That will send a message to speed up healing in that area. Put all your efforts into that area. This is like a light bulb for me, because I've experienced times where I took a long time to heal. Now I realize it was because I was putting so much effort into not using the area. This makes me think of past and present problems that I have that would not heal. And then there's what I've been talking about, how my body didn't have the resources to heal certain problems, so it stored them. And also thinking about how my eyes are not as good as they used to be, and I purposely don't want to go get glasses. Because once you do that, the eyes have no reason to try to fix themselves, because when you're wearing glasses, it doesn't seem like there's a problem. The eyes think that everything's fine because it's looking through lenses. Let your eyesight be blurry and struggle to focus on things. That sends a message to your body that there's something that needs fixing. Then there's teeth. I purposely do not go to dentists because what they're going to do is fill in a cavity with something that could fall out later, or there could be rotting going on that you can't clean out. That's all unnatural. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. And I've healed cavities and a chipped tooth once. Leave the cavity there, keep it clean, and it can heal itself. The saliva has to get to it. Back to injuries. I've had an experience once way back. I'd have an injury and it would be healing a little bit, and then I'd bump into it and it would start hurting all over again. And I figure I was back to square one, but that's not the way it works. When the body's in the process of healing and you hit it on something or use it accidentally, I noticed the next day it was better than before. And that's because the body realized how much it needs to fix that area because the injury reoccurred or it wasn't healing fast enough. I even had that experience with this arm injury. There was a couple of occasions where I used it, but that didn't cause any problems with healing. The concept is just like exercising and building muscle. The more you use of something, the stronger it gets.
But the claim that your average fucking human being is walking around protein deficient, you are so full of shit, it's unimaginable.
That's what I kept saying in my video. It's hard to believe. And speaking of unimaginable crazy stuff that people have said in mass media,
the possibilities that you can have an infection, they may exist, but it's very, very, very low. This is a plan to control population.
Mm-hmm. Plus, they've also proven with the vaccine, once you take it, you're unable to create antibodies to fight off any infection.
well, I hope I don't have to tell any of my smart viewership how ignorant that is.
It's a paper from Germany.
They're the only country that has stated they are against veganism. So although I've been having a lot of problems lately that have really impeded my life, every time this happens, it makes me more determined to get back to a place where things were going well. I had health to show for, and I could move forward with my missions in life. Actually, my true health has not really changed, according to my theory. Over the last 20 years, my body was just storing the problems because it couldn't deal with them at that point. And now I believe it is dealing with it. This requires patience and determination, and because of my knowledge base, I have good reason to believe that I can get back to a good state, but this time it'll be even better, because I'll no longer be storing a bunch of stuff, tension, and if the body does store emotions, well, I got plenty of that built up. I won't have all the stiffness in my shoulders and neck. Then maybe I can really see my dream come alive to get into the super health that this diet should provide.
It's been a long night, trying to find my way, but I will see my dream